G'day everybody, Professor Mike Gradisar here, and bringing you today's first episode of What the Sleep. So what is What the Sleep? It's basically our way of trying to translate some of the research studies so you don't have to listen to all of the jargon and try to understand sort of some of the sleep research that's happening out there. And today's episode is looking at the effect of pre-sleep video game playing on adolescent sleep. So why do this sort of study? Well, it seems quite intuitive that if you're playing video games that are highly interactive, they're quite arousing, that you'll have trouble falling asleep. And certainly there's been surveys that have shown a link between the two things. But surveys aren't necessarily the strongest type of research design. One of the better designs is actually what we call an experimental study, especially if you can get people coming into a laboratory. There was one really classic study that was done in Japan, and this was done with 7 young adults that were aged about 25 years old. And what they did is that they played video games in the evening for a couple of hours just before bedtime, or they came into the laboratory and they did some mental arithmetic. Now, the study actually showed it took 2 minutes longer to fall asleep after playing the video game. Now, you might conclude then that playing video games is okay, it doesn't stuff up your sleep. But, and there's always a but, the people that were involved in this study, they actually went to bed 1 hour later than usual. And when you go to bed 1 hour later than usual, then you're more likely to feel more sleepy and fall asleep quicker. So basically, this study, unfortunately, couldn't have a good, true look at what the effect of video gaming on sleep actually looked like. Based upon this, what did we do? Well, teenagers love video games. And so we actually wanted to have teenagers in our particular study. So we had 13 of them. They were aged between 16 to 17 years of age. So they either played a video game for about an hour just before their usual bedtime, or they watched a documentary called March of the Penguins. So we wanted to have a contrast between 2 different types of audiovisual activities. So one that was highly interactive and one that was actually quite passive. So what did we find? It did take statistically longer to fall asleep after playing video games. Now that's statistically, that's when you crunch the numbers. But when you have a closer look at the numbers, it only took 4 minutes longer to fall asleep after playing video games compared to watching the TV documentary. And when we wanted to look at the mechanism why this might be happening, heart rate didn't relate to this extra 4 minutes longer to fall asleep, but EEG arousal, the mental stimulation, did. But then again, we're talking only about 4 minutes of extra time taken to fall asleep. So where to from here? In terms of the actual study, it did get published and you can download it from our website where we've got a whole host of different studies that you can download for free. And this particular study got a lot of media attention as well across the Northern Hemisphere. Unfortunately, it didn't get much attention in Australia. But it did lead to other things, such as being invited to be a part of an expert panel for the National Sleep Foundation, which led to another What the Sleep study that we'll have in the links below. But this was only 50 minutes of playing video games, and this is not necessarily what teenagers do. They might play it for longer. So it really led to the question, what if the dose of video gaming was higher? And that's what we did in another future study. So from here, big thanks to the teen volunteers that came into our sleep lab. They ate pizza, they played video games, and then they went to sleep. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe while you're here. Check out our other What the Sleep videos as we release them. We've done about 100 or more, so we've got a lot to do. And you can download our studies for free on our website, where we've got a bunch of blogs, and you can subscribe to our free weekly newsletter, where we provide evidence-based sleep tips and behind the scenes of our work in sleep research. Thanks for watching.